Sports War.
And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this. And we are back, Brian.
Welcome,
oh, dude.
Another edition of the Sports Report, a little remote edition. Tony catching me off guard. I didn't know you were just going to put me right in there, you know?
That's what we're all about here, the organic reaction, Brian.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, my God. Exactly. So funny, dude. So tell the people, why are you at home right now, dude?
Yeah, been having some issues with the Optimum cable boxes. Currently, all four not working properly. So, they give you the window. We're in hour 3 of that window. But supposedly, I talked to the technician maybe 10 minutes ago. So it would seem he'd be arriving momentarily. I'm sure we'll catch some live feed once he arrives. But hey, you got to do what you got to do, especially in this area. I mean, obviously, you could always get the subscription app, but it's like to get Yankee baseball day in, day out, you need Optimum. So sometimes you got to tough it out,
Yeah, dude, that is tough. It's the classic, scenario, waiting for the cable guy. It really is, dude. So funny.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but pumped to still be able to do all of this with you guys. And I see already we have a bunch of comments from the faithful.
Of course, dude. You have Michael Buckta in the house, dude, who's still high and mighty. Pumped that Hurley isn't going anywhere. And as I said, still pumped about the horseshoe the other night. Great time, obviously, with him and Jimmy. But I saw it so funny. Jimmy graduated. I saw the photo Michael posted on Facebook yesterday. So funny.
Congrats, Jimmy.
Yeah, dude. And I know Michael, I'm sure he had his first day yesterday, actually, at his new job. So
yeah, congrats to Michael as well.
And of course, we have Josh B in the house. What up, fam? He says, can we just skip right to the MLB postseason, please? He says, LOL, #TCH.
Times are good right now, Josh B. Times are good.
Do you think that Josh B is like saying this because he's like, yo, Yankees are hot right now. Let's keep it going. I want postseason now. Or is he just like tight that the Rangers are in the Cup final right now watching the freaking Panthers?
I mean, obviously, it's a little bit of both. But, of course, it's a long season. So you just want to be able to maintain, a really good pace when you're looking to win a championship. So obviously that's what they have in front of them. And obviously, too, it's a long time till October. But as you know, Tony, we have the horses. It's all about execution, and right now it looks pretty good.
Oh yeah, dude, and definitely feel for Josh there for the hockey. It's actually funny. I put a VHS tape on in the studio of the year in sports, 1994, dude.
Wow,
I know. They just showed fucking Ken Griffey ripping some home runs. Which is pretty sick. Speaking of sick, dude, Michael Buckta says how awesome it feels to wake up knowing Dan Hurley is still our coach. I wonder what Michael would have done, honestly, if Hurley ended up I guess if he went to the Lakers, I'm sure he's happy for the Lakers. But at the end of the day, we know he's all about the UConn, dude.
Yeah, and I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, but I just, I said all along, I just didn't take that seriously. And, it just seemed like leverage from day one. That seemed like something that, was destined, just not to work if he had ultimately accepted that job. And he just also seems to me to be a college coach. I just can't imagine him coaching in the NBA and taking a back seat to these players.
Do you think that now he's going to end up being the number one highest paid college coach? What do you think UConn's going to do?
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be some type of extension. There'll be some pay raise. I don't know if it'll be the highest in America, but I had said, yesterday or the other day, hard to argue that that's not what he deserves.
What would you pay him?
I know we were looking at this the other day, but is it almost like $20 million, right? The The highest, like 17, 18 million or something.
I think so. I paid college basketball coach.
I thought when we looked this up, it was Calipari and Izzo, but I don't know if that was last season.
Yeah, this is as of March 13th. Looks like Bill Self is the highest paid. Calipari is in second.
Does it say what the salaries are?
Yeah, Bill Self is 9.625. Calipari is 8.5.
Wait, say it again.
Bill Self is 9.5, and Calipari is 8.5. So there's about $1 million difference there.
Oh, okay. So we were quite off there. So yeah, maybe he's the first $10 million man.
Which is kind of crazy.
But yeah, like I said, I mean, I just think he deserves it, and he gets the most out of his players, and it's just remarkable to go to back. You had some carryover, but with really differently constructed rosters. So that's definitely pretty cool. Yeah, we're just gonna mention great day out on the golf course yesterday.
Oh yeah,
Fox Hollow. You would have loved it too. We teed off just after 4 and just completely wide open. Didn't have to wait on anybody the whole time.
That's great.
Just me and Corey. So I think we came in about 3 hours, 15 minutes. But it was funny. I was speaking to this and how Reed Fowler, the other day was talking about the greens at Gainer. These were even worse. Like I'm talking like the green slopes like this, like no way to land it, so fast.
Wow.
Literally got an 8 on a par 3. So again, those are the type of things. And somehow we end up in the same place, 95 again.
Wow, Brian.
So it's just crazy. I've been within 3 strokes like the last 5 rounds, like the same score every time. So at least the ball striking's good. Driver's getting a little better, but it's just the putting. Got to be able to putt and chip. That's the whole thing.
Dude, an 8 on a par 3, huh? What was that in the front 9?
Yeah. So I guess you're talking 1, 2, 3, number 4. And yeah, just a crazy green. And then also too, this happens a lot. I'm just not comfortable with those short chips.
Oh yeah.
So then I like flubbed one. So you had an extra chip, and the next thing you know, I mean, it's just not a good situation. But definitely had some really good shots as well. So just really looking forward to growing off of that. Next couple times out, and I think something's around the corner.
Oh yeah, dude. You thinking you're gonna break 80?
That might be a stretch, but let's just get back into the 80s to start. And actually, what's interesting, my laptop right now on top of the push cart, so that just came in the mail. So within the next couple rounds, we'll break that out. Probably just test it out at Gainer. Don't want to do anything crazy. Also, got to watch the temperature. I think next week is supposed to be in the 90s or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So obviously, you're gonna be tight.
Yeah, that's right, dude. I feel like came a little late, huh? I thought it was gonna come last week.
Yeah, there was a little delay there, and it actually made me think about it. And obviously, we'll specifically talk about it tomorrow. But I was listening to PGA Tour radio this morning. They were talking about this week at Pinehurst, and a lot of days in the 90s. So they said that the greens are going to be as fast as we've ever seen. So it should be interesting, and they're expecting the course to really give these players a tough test. And I think they were saying like the green on 1 or something's like a soup bowl. And then it was so funny listening to this. But the host, his name is Taylor Zarzer. He does some of the PGA Tour live coverage. Probably works with Reed Fowler, honestly. And he was saying, I'm telling you, I only saw him for 2 holes. But the best ball striking out of Tiger Woods that I've seen. He looked leaner than the PGA, and it's just like I can't help but take that with a grain of salt.
I know, dude. It's actually funny you mentioned that because I feel like, yesterday I was seeing a lot of like warm-up swings and like practice shots by Tiger on social media, and a lot of people are like chatting him up about it, like the fact that he looks really good, he's dialed in. Again, like you said, take it with a grain of salt. We'll see.
Yeah, my bad. I was just making sure. Optimum didn't try to call me.
Of course, dude. Optimum. Right. But honestly, Brian, you think he's got a chance? If people are saying he looks better and he looks better, what do you think chances, dude, of a top 10 finish?
I think
top 25?
Winning the lottery equivalent.
Oh, dude. Yeah,
I mean, you
probably right.
you know it though too, you know.
I know that's really the worst part about it is that people are, I feel like, hyping him up right now, and it's like I feel like a lot of people are getting into this mindset where it's like he's got a shot almost. But I mean, I guess we'll see. You never know, dude, and we'll get more into it as I'm sure we'll preview it tomorrow and everything. But I am pumped for the weekend. It's gonna be a dope tournament.
Yeah, it's going to be a dope tournament, and these majors, especially the rotating ones. Obviously, Augusta always at the same venue, but just the fact that these courses only get their shot really once every 9-10 years, maybe every 6 or 7 if they're lucky. So it just you just feel like you're never there. And I know people speak of Pinehurst as one of the nicest courses in the country. So
Be nice to play there one day.
Yeah, absolutely.
By the way, I don't know if Michael missed the top of the show, but he is asking you, Barnes, why are you remote today?
Michael, I mean, we'll give him a pass for missing the top, but yeah, Optimum on their way. So give you the window. Said they would try to get here early, but somehow, even though there's offices in Stanford, they were coming from Bridgeport. The traffic. Basically a little of this, a little of that, but at the end of the day, Tony, right? We just power through.
I mean, yeah, dude, you got to thank God for technology,
Yeah, absolutely. He goes, oh, okay, Barnaby. When does he call me Barnaby? I just want to know. And really, on this show, who calls me that?
Yeah, dude.
I feel like nobody calls me that.
No one does. Okay, Barnaby.
Bringing me back to my middle school days.
Yeah. Oh wow, he's giving you a pass. I'll give you an exception for that, he says.
Wow, those are strong words there from Mr. Bupka.
Yeah, well, that's it. He's a big guy now, big job, big boy pants, dude.
I was just thinking about this because you didn't really elaborate on it, so I feel like it would be a good time. Let's hear what happened at the old Buffalo Wild Wings last night.
Oh yeah. Yeah, dude. So, my housemates were like, "Yo, Buffalo Wild Wings," which I didn't know this, but every Monday and Wednesday, I don't know for how long, but they do like $20 all you can eat wings, boneless wings. So, it sounded pretty good. They're gonna go. I told Mike, so we went. Obviously watching the Yankee game. The Cup Finals on. So let's catch those games. So it's funny too because the last time we were at Buffalo Wild Wings. It was like Renee, Mike, myself, Matthew, and like the food wasn't that good, dude. So we literally probably haven't been to a Buffalo Wild Wings in well over a year, dude. Probably closer to 2, to be honest. But nonetheless, dude, we go and Mike and I, we sit down with some, my housemates, whatever. And we do, we start off with the classic, buffalo, and then a honey barbecue. And the way it works, you order your first round is like 10 wings with fries. And then after that, every other round is 6 wings, and you have to like ask them for more fries.
Right. No, I think I've done that like once.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So we did that. Obviously, Mike and I always got different flavors, so we're mixing and matching whatever. Like I said, honey barbecue buffalo to start off, and that was by far like the best. Those are the best sauces. Like after that, we tried like habanero, whatever. Nashville hot we tried. This luau barbecue was like a pineapple barbecue sauce.
Did they still have hot barbecue?
I didn't see that on the menu.
Oh, that was always a big one by me, but definitely has a little too much kick, but it's fire.
Ooh, and then we tried like this one of the super hot ones, which was okay. And then like whatever the fuck else we tried. Like they had like buffalo ranch sauce, which was not that good. Literally, dude, like every sauce, honestly, we tried. It really wasn't that good. Besides just regular buffalo and honey barbecue.
And what do you? I mean, it's just like a flavor thing, a freshness. Like what was?
Yeah, dude. I forget which flavor it was.
Parm garlic. Parm garlic?
No. It wasn't parm garlic. Which we didn't get that. Which that is. That is pretty good. Like that sauce is good. No, but again, we were trying to try every sauce.
But you know what? There you got to go parm garlic and honey barbecue. Those are their staples.
Next time
you did honey barbecue or no?
Yeah, we did honey barbecue.
But it was beef. You're saying?
No. Honey barbecue was one of the good ones. Honey barbecue.
Oh, okay.
No, buffalo was awesome.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm gonna
you
need you to take this away for a second, Tony.
Yeah, I'd freaking go. So obviously, again, like we're in there. It's the bang for your buck type of play here. So like we're not really complaining, but at the end of the day, you are,
Yeah, you
still
just
gonna
show you
critique your food. I'm gonna just mute Brian right there. So like the optimum guy. So funny. But so at the end of the day, it's like, like it's just like kind of beat, honestly. Like at Buffalo Wild Wings, never a big fan. The food there is always kind of iffy. To be honest, everybody was getting burgers. I couldn't believe the amount of people on all you can eat boneless wing night. People were getting burgers. Everyone had burgers. I saw a guy even getting like the bone-in wings. Again, it's like all you can eat boneless, and people getting the bone-in wings. So again, like that's indicative of what the boneless wings are like. And obviously, again, you take it with a grain of salt. You're getting a lot of food for it. You end up eating 24 wings each, so you get your bang for your buck. Like I said, all the fries too, the sauces, the carrots, the celery. It's worth it, I will say. But I will say, again, like if you're going to go there, just stick to your guns. Do not stray away from your classic sauces, the garlic parm, the honey barbecue, the buffalo dude. Yeah. So just like that would be my advice for you guys at home, dude. And I'm gonna go solo that now at this point. So, and again, if anyone in the comments, Josh B, Michael, let me know. Because like I said, you go in there, we had a great time, honestly, because obviously Buffalo Wild Wings, it's the atmosphere that you're going there for, the millions of TVs, you're watching the games, you're with the boys, it's a good time. Again, we were there to eat. Okay. I didn't eat all day. I know the all you can eat's coming. So I went there, empty stomach, beer, no thank you. A root beer, had one soda and a water, okay? Because I want to save it for the room of the food. And like I said, you stick to honey barbecue, you stick to buffalo, garlic parm. In that area, you're good. Because I forget which one it was. It was the Caribbean jerk, dude. The Caribbean jerk chicken, their sauce, to me, tasted like I was eating a Christmas holiday candle or a Christmas tree, even. It tasted like that pine. It tasted like pine, Chris fucking pine, dude. And it really wasn't good at all. And I was very disappointed in that. And even to go more in depth with the Buffalo freaking ranch, Buffalo Ranch. The first Buffalo Ranch, I don't know if they were like running low or it's just dry. It was almost dry, dude, to me. And it didn't really taste like much, honestly, to me either. That was another thing. Nothing like all the other flavors, like the luau barbecue, I kind of tasted barbecue and then weird pineapple, like weird, not good pineapple, like artificial pineapple. So again, like I said, I'm gonna hammer it. Stick to your guns. If you're going there for the all you can eat wings, it's $20, guys. This is a really great deal. I recommend it. But then again, that's just me. Maybe you would like all the other ones. We didn't do any dry rubs or anything. But I mean, again, if you get a dry rub, get a dry rub. I'm there for the sauces, dude. I'm a sauce guy, like wet sauce. And no one's really talking about it here, so that's fine, dude. Check Instagram for comments. None. Zero. Zilch. Michael Buckta hates Buffalo Wild Wings, I'm sure. Actually, I don't know, dude. My mother says good morning. My mother, Buffalo Wild Wings. I think we went to Buffalo Wild Wings once before. But Ma was saying we did the all you can eat wings last night at Buffalo Wild Wings, $20, or you can eat boneless wings. And it really there wasn't that many good sauces. But it was still worth it for $20. And you watch the games, like I said. Root beer, interesting scenario with the root beer. They're like, oh, we have root beer. It's in the bottle. So I'm expecting like a glass bottle, Stewart's. They even asked me, do you want a cup with ice? No, I'll take the bottle. And they come over with like a plastic mug root beer bottle, which is fine. I like mug, but it's just like, it's so odd, dude. Josh B says he loves B-dubs. I can see Josh B loving B-dubs, taking the fam. I'm sure again, all you can eat wings, it's like freaking crazy. And also like they say on the menu, you can't take any doggy bags. But again, like our waitress was so great. We were very nice to her. She was nice to us. Bagged up our leftover wings and stuff with the fries. It was very nice of her to do so. Sweet Thai chili, he says. Again, maybe we did the wrong flavors, but I don't know, dude. I didn't even see sweet Thai chili. My goodness. My mother says, how about wings for Sunday? ? We went to Kim and Amanda. We went with Kim and Amanda. Wow, that was a while ago. I thought the burger was better. Yes, I do recall getting the burger, Mom. The burger was good. And then wings for Sunday sounds great. I know we're barbecuing for Father's Day. Brian Barbie says, let's go. I think that's his cue to come back in, dude. There you go, dude.
Yo, do you know how to? Because I messaged you in the chat. How do I get the chat thing off? Do I just click on it?
Like you're on.
It's a split screen with the chat for whatever reason.
Oh, on StreamYard.
Yeah.
That's a great question on your phone. I mean, I guess.
Oh, I got it. Okay. Here we go.
Oh, there we go, dude.
There's a little confusion. Supposedly, we should be all set. Boxes are going to be slightly different. That yada yada.
Oh, really, dude? Oh, I'm sorry. Of course, there's confusion.
But I did hear what you were saying, and it's like, yeah, with these food things, like if I was there with you guys, it would have been a positive experience because you definitely got the wrong flavors, 100%. You can't force flavors. I'm just gonna unlock this door real quick, but you can't force it.
Yeah, I know, dude. It is tough. My mother says, by the way, all you can eat is a scam. You can only eat so much. And it's funny, my mother mentions like the scam part because it did like, and again, maybe this is just me like being like, oh, but I feel like, you know, like they know you're getting the all you can eat wings and they almost like don't like come back often to you. You know, they almost like not ignore, but it's like they really like take their time. And again, I'm sure that everyone's getting all you can eat wings, so the wings take a while each time, and you can't order, more than one plate. Like it's almost like they gotta make sure you're done before you get your next plate. So it does,
But just speaking to that, I mean, it's not every type of deal, whether it's at a restaurant, it's a grocery store. I mean, everything's baked in. Oh, it's buy one, get one free, but the price is higher. So there's no big deal out there. We all know that.
Yeah, there really isn't. But I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know if you heard, we had 24 wings each, so it is a good bang for your buck. And I was
and how many more are you gonna eat?
Exactly. And honestly, I got fries like every time. I was housing the fries. So I mean, it was definitely worth honestly the trip for me. And at the end of the day, like I'm not even that mad that I had these bad sauces because again, like I tried them and now I definitely know not to get them again. And I still I still ate them. I ate all of them.
Yeah.
So
and this was the Milford location?
Yes, this is the Milford one. I mean, the only other there's one like Danbury. I don't even know. I'm sure there's one in Stanford too, I guess.
Yeah, the one in Stanford, yeah.
But yeah, this was in Milford at the mall, which was nice. It was dope, dude. And watching the games, the projectors. I mean, you're not really complaining much,
Yeah, exactly. But I think it would be a good time to go to the world of Major League Baseball.
It's deep to left. It's 700. Albert Pujols.
Yeah, what a play! Stop it. Yep.
And Alonso cracks one. The Mets win the ball game. Out of sight. And it works at 100 miles an hour. 14 strikeout.
Throw deep to left field. There it goes. See ya.
I love the setup though. John's giving us an off-camera shout out. Loves the setup.
Let's go.
Tony's fired up.
Let's go, Tony.
Yeah, baby. Let's go, John.
But yes, so another great night for your New York Yankees last night. A 4-2 win in Kansas City. A little bit of an unconventional win too. Which we'll get to how they scored 3 of their 4 runs. But once again, Carlos Rodon setting the tone early and often. I think he started this game with 4 no-hit innings after coming off his previous start, which he actually had 5 perfect innings. So Rodon has been really locked in. And it's interesting, Tony, and you don't really see this too much because we were going over the numbers last night and you look at the radar gun readings. So he's throwing, between 96 and 98. And last season, he was kind of hitting 92, 93. But his strikeouts are down this year, which is kind of interesting. So I'm sure it's something where, he's getting a lot more, soft contact. But it is kind of like a friendly reminder because I think all of us kind of, I don't know if it's like put more weight than it should or just kind of get overexcited for strikeout numbers, but at the end of the day, you don't have to strike everybody out. And really, you get deeper into ball games by not striking everybody out. And you look at his line last night, 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, only 3 strikeouts. ERA now sitting at 2.93, 9-2 on the season. So quite the 180 from last year, when actually I think his season ended in Kansas City. Throwing a fit on the mound, having an ERA a tick below 7. We've really come light years from that. This game also, welcomed the return of Juan Soto. So it was nice to get him back in the lineup after 3 nights off, during this Dodgers series. But they did decide to rest Rizzo for the 2nd straight game, putting Mr. LeMahieu at first base. Jahmai Jones getting the start in right field. So Soto DHing, Judge out as well. First day of rest. So it kind of seemed like this Soto situation with the rest days kind of opened it up for, everybody else. So Judge was on the bench as well as Stanton. So kind of a little bit of a different lineup, but it definitely worked out well. And it was nice to see, after Anthony Volpe grounded out in the 1st inning, Juan Soto in his first at bat back from his 3-game absence with a single. He would come around to score the Yankees' first run on an Alex Verdugo single. So, that gave the Yankees a 1-0 lead. And we talked about an unconventional way of winning this game. So the Yankees, won this game 4-2. Their final 3 runs all somehow the results of bunting, Tony. And in the 1st inning, we talked about Mr. LeMahieu, obviously struggling at the dish, in his brief return so far, lays down a squeeze bunt, a perfectly placed bunt, down the right side. So that scored Gleyber Torres. So that gave the Yankees a 2-0 lead. Like I said, Rodon going, 4 no-hit innings. Trevino gets a big 2-out single to score LeMahieu and Grisham. And right before that, Jahmai Jones had laid down a bunt to move the runners over. So once again, the bunt coming into play. And it was interesting with Jones, and obviously I'm sure preference-wise, he would want to be, just bunting for a hit. But you don't usually see teams bunt with 1 out, because there was 1st and 2nd, 1 out. He lays it down. Usually that doesn't work, only 1 shot to score the runners. But as we've seen, Jose Trevino has been big with runners in scoring position with 2 outs. And that's what we really saw him get comfortable with 2 years ago. And he's kind of picked that up this year after an injury-riddled season last year. And specifics to the bunting, because I know, if you go back to, previous years and even, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, numbers were completely different. Obviously, bunting way down. What do you think that no matter what team you are and how many home runs you hit, that bunting really should be, part of everybody's arsenal?
I mean, yeah, I do think so, dude. I mean, I feel like it is a very fundamental baseball move. And I mean, I feel like executed correctly, it's almost impossible to defend. I mean, I feel, like a great, again, like you watch LeMahieu bunt. I mean, that was literally perfect, dude. And there was nothing you could do about it. Like, it was just a perfect bunt down the first base line, and you get a score in because of that. And again, like, that is just indicative. If you have a team that practices bunting and you're given that scenario, I mean, you can score a run, which is huge, especially, and it's early on in the game. You're setting that tone. And then what? And then, I mean, like, a team's gonna have to be thinking about that, anytime that there's a scenario where you could be bunting, they're gonna think you're bunting and have to try and figure something out. So just as another element to your offense, there's another way to score. And in terms of the Yankees picking the bunt a lot last night, which makes sense. You mentioned a lot of their Judge out, Stanton out, they're getting rest and stuff like that. So, they're relying on the bunt there. It's a great call, dude. I absolutely love that.
And don't you think too, it's an ego thing? And LeMahieu, I guess, hasn't really bunted too much over the years, even though he's not a power guy. I think more because he's like, not a speed guy. But like you think about like Rizzo or even Stanton, and maybe, we don't want Stanton bunting just because he'll probably injure himself doing it. But like for Rizzo, he sat out these last couple of games. When he's back in the lineup and there's this scenario where it's 1st and 2nd, nobody out, like, he probably should try that because they're not going to expect it. I know he doesn't bunt, but I think sometimes, too, that can be a slump buster.
Yeah, I think so too. Again, I mean, it's get some confidence going in Rizzo, which is pretty interesting. Hopefully he can. Honestly, I mean, we'll see. I don't know, man. I mean, I think Rizzo. We talked about it. He's in a tough situation right now. I feel he just doesn't look athletic, like as he
Yeah.
used to anyway.
But with the shift, a lot of times, and I don't know if it's going to change because he hasn't been able to hit his way out of a paper bag recently. But he usually is shifted heavily to the right side, so the left side's wide open. It's like he's got to start playing with that side if they're going to give it to him.
Oh yeah, definitely. And honestly, you think he can conjure up something?
I don't know. I mean, I guess like something, but nothing good. And needless to say, this is definitely his last year in the Bronx. I can tell you that with certainty. That's for sure. So, it'd be interesting to see how that situation plays out. And I was talking with Corey yesterday. He was saying, there's some guy in the minors that could potentially come up, and take the spot. So, really will be interesting to see what they do. So, after they get those 4 runs, that was the last of the Yankee offense. Carlos Rodon would give up a run in the 7th on a Furman single to make it 4-1, but he gets a big out there to end the 7th to leave it at that deficit. Ian Hamilton, did get into a little bit of trouble, but what are you going to do? Bobby Witt, one of the best young shortstops in the game, with a double in the 8th to score Blanco, so that made it 4-2. But that would be the last run the Royals would score. And how about this? Mike Tonkin, Tony, has went from got to be DFA'd to a vital part of the Yankee bullpen. I didn't even realize this myself, but since he debuted with the Yankees in that Brewers series, where they lost and they walked it off on the Yankees, he hasn't given up a run. His ERA is under 1 as a Yankee. Clay Holmes not available, pitching 3 out of the 4 last games. 24 pitches the previous night. So they go with Tonkin for the save. Only his 2nd career save, but pitching well. And after getting DFA'd twice earlier this year, his earned run average sitting at 2.45. So it's amazing the transformation there. But at the end of the day, this was just a nice win to have, especially when your lineup is in full force. It was great to see Soto back in action, and the fact too that Carlos Rodon has really established himself very quickly after being a laughingstock last year to one of the best pitchers in the American League.
Which is so tough to do. Rick and Dave were talking about it. Not only is it tough to do, but it's tough to do for a team like the Yankees. And it's interesting, dude. I was looking at some of his pitches from last night. We watched the game. It was it actually was mad funny because, dude, I was the only fucking person in Buffalo Wild Wings watching the Cup final when it came on.
Oh, really? Everybody's watching the Yankees?
Dude, literally, like when the Oilers scored the first goal, like I get up and I'm like, oh, like that, and like literally dead silent in the entire
restaurant. Nobody gave a shit.
Like nobody was talking about it. Everyone looked at me like, what are you doing? But anyway, Rodon, right, yeah. I was looking at some of his, and some of his strikeouts. It's actually pretty interesting. The 3 strikeouts that he got came off of his fastball. And just, looking at like his pitch selection from last night, it seems like he's been using that fastball like almost like a setup pitch. And he goes to his changeup or like his slider for those later strikeout pitches, but it ends up inducing flyouts, kind of stuff like that. So I don't know if that's something he started to do. Again, one of those adjustments, because I feel like last season that guy was like stubbornly almost just hammering his fastball. So I feel like maybe just that mix of adding those off-speed breaking balls is what's not only helping him like obviously do well, but also last longer in games. Which is great, dude. And obviously, it's so funny, dude. Everyone's talking about the freaking jersey swap mid-game, the sweating with Rodon. It's hilarious. But on a night like that, like you said, I mean, the Royals aren't a team necessarily to overlook. They could be a dark horse playoff team. And not to mention, Santiago on the mound is arguably their best pitcher. I mean, you just gave him his first losses, I think, late April. Which is amazing. And I mean, he was getting hit literally immediately, dude. First inning, you're scoring runs off of this guy. So, and like we said before too, without Judge, without Stanton, I mean, you found a way to win this game, which is huge, dude. It was great.
Were you surprised? I think Matt had alluded to this, but I didn't see anything official till really I was listening to the pregame on the radio with Corey. after golf. But were you surprised that Soto was back in the lineup so quick?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think we were talking about it yesterday. I mean, at this point, no. I mean, I think that especially for Soto, I mean, he's someone who definitely wants to get back to playing baseball as fast as possible, especially if he is healthy, which he is. So I guess I'm not totally surprised. I mean, like, we've kind of been seeing this, turning a new leaf with the Yankees organization in terms of how they're dealing with athletes who are, dealing with, slight injuries or rest time and stuff like that. I mean, first time Judge was sat all year, right? Yesterday?
Yeah, first time. I think it was, they said 67 straight games or something that he started.
That's great. I mean, I feel like last year he definitely would have had more off days. So it is, it's nice to see that they're handling their players a little bit better.
Yeah. And I didn't get a chance. I had left early this morning from Somerset, and then was doing a couple things before the show, so I didn't get a chance to listen to DNR. But were they talking a lot about the Yankees? Like, what was the conversation there this morning?
Yeah, I guess they were talking a lot about Rodon, and his kind of bounce back. Definitely a lot about the fact that they beat the Royals without Stanton, without Judge. But I mean, that was basically it. Nothing crazy.
Yeah, nice not having Danny Boy in the mix.
Yeah, dude, it is. It's nice to see Rick back, dude.
Yeah. Where he's meant to be. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really happy with the win, and I like the fact too. Like I said, winning in different ways. Doing whatever you need to win, because at the end of the day, I mean, that's what championship teams do. And I have to say, I mean, I know, it wasn't an offensive onslaught, but I was worried that we were going to see more of the same, going into last night of what we saw, those first couple games of the Dodgers series. So definitely refreshing to see that. And of course, it'll be refreshing to see that 2-3 combination going again with Judge and Soto tonight. And, Marcus Stroman, probably coming off of his worst outing of the season last time out. He's going to toe the slab tonight. 8-10 again against Brady Singer. Singer coming off a year last year similar to that of Rodon's, but pitching more innings, having the same type of result. ERA I think at 7 or right there around, has really been a revelation for Kansas City this year. 4-2. 2.76, with a 121 whip. Obviously, though, going into last night's game, Lugo, similar numbers or even better numbers. Yankees were able to manufacture some runs. So, with Judge and most likely Stanton back in the lineup, I would expect, better results, in this one. And I feel good about Stroman. I don't know about you. Obviously, like I said, last time out, wasn't good. But you feel like because of the type of lineup Kansas City has, Stroman not being a strikeout guy, that since there's not a lot of big like home run threats, that you would anticipate him having a strong outing tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's basically what Rodon did. The low strikeouts last night. Inducing a lot of those flyouts. Off of off-speed pitches. That's kind of Stroman's bread and butter. So I would think, barring anything that Stroman is, I don't know, has anything going on in terms of maybe he's just mechanically off or mentally off or whatever, you would imagine it's going to be a big bounce back start for him, like no doubt. So you would think Kansas City is going to be sitting somewhere around 2 runs, at the end of the next 9 innings they're playing.
Yeah. So, I think as far as the Yankees are concerned, this should be, obviously you never know, but this should be a game where they should, easily have 5 or 6 runs. That's the type of offense, we've seen out of them, this season. So really excited for that. And I think,
where's the fourth one?
The fourth one is upstairs. And then there's one more on the top here too. The top TV has one. So you have the cable box right there underneath the top TV.
Oh, so third, fourth.
Yeah, fourth is up top. Yeah. But what do you think, Tony? A special edition of a baseball frenzy, or what do we got?
Oh, absolutely. Do you want to rip a nice frenzy right now?
Let's. Is the music not playing already? What's going on?
Is it loud enough for you, Brian? We have all right, dude, let's freaking go. You want to do a nice sweet frenzy on this 2 for Tuesday here. We have the Mets back in action, Brian. I don't know if you remember.
If you get out the pad, by the way, it just would be easier just for this one, and I'll transcribe it tomorrow.
Oh, yes, you got it, dude. Absolutely.
Yeah. But continue on.
You are absolutely right. Let's freaking go. It's a huge frenzy. Mets finally back in action. I know the cable guy is a huge Mets fan. Let's freaking go. They had a nice series against Miami here at Citi Field. 7:10 p.m. The Mets are minus 145. We have Tyler McGill towing the slab for them against Jesus Luzardo. Luzardo with an ERA above a 5. You know what? The Marlins struggling 22-43 right now, which is why the Mets are favored. Over under 7.5. This is going to be the 4th time these two teams face each other. So far, the Marlins did take 2 out of 3 earlier in the season, scoring a ton of runs. But I think McGill is going to have a few things to say about that. Give me McGill here. 6 2/3, maybe 2-3 earned runs, settling down, later in his outing, maybe a few earlier on. But nonetheless, going some distance, well needed, and obviously a well-rested bullpen to follow. But you have to dip too much into that. Give me Petey Alonso with his 15th dinger of the year. Jesus Luzardo, I don't know, maybe 5 innings out of him. He'll probably give up a bunch of runs. But give me the Mets winning this game. Let's say 6-3. So Mets in the over there, Brian, as I'll write this one down.
Okay. So, I already mentioned it, but obviously, Yankees back in action today. And like I said, really going to be welcoming back Aaron Judge. I mean, we know, the game changer that he is, and to insert him in this lineup with Soto, I think it really is going to be too much for Brady Singer. And I really, wouldn't be surprised, if we were to see the Brady Singer that we saw last season. So I think they get to him early and often. I don't even see him pitching 5 innings, to be honest. I think it's more like a 4 innings, 6 earned runs. And I think Stroman will cruise, that extra run support really taking the pressure off of him. So I think, we're going to see Stroman throw 6 scoreless innings. Yankees probably go to the 7th inning, with like a 7-0 lead and end up winning this one, 9-3. So give me the Yankees, give me the over, and give me the Yankees 48th victory of the season.
Let's freaking go, dude. Yanks in the over, Mets in the over. What do I start off this frenzy on this beautiful Tuesday, June 11th? Speaking of a beautiful Tuesday, it's going to be a nice day in Boston as they get ready to take on the Phillies for obviously the only series they'll have against them at Fenway. A NESN game, Brian. Your over-under here is 7.5, and Boston is plus 150. That's because Zach Wheeler will be on the mound, pitching, dealing probably. 7-3 on the year so far, 2.23 ERA. The Cy Young candidate here has 91 Ks over 80 2/3 innings pitched. Matched up against him is Cutter Crawford, a guy who I guess, pitched okay. I mean, he's been getting wins for the Red Sox, but at the end of the day, a 3.5 ERA. May not bode well against the Phillies here. Bryce Harper also looking for, looks like his 16th home run, actually. Alec Boehm, we know him. He's been dealing. He's been absolutely killing it. 291 average, killing for my fantasy team as well. So give me the Phillies here. The obvious favorite. The over-under 7.5. I mean, I can see Crawford maybe getting through a few innings unscathed, and the bullpen probably going to come in and blow it even more. Late run scored by the Phillies in the 7th, maybe like a 3-run blast by Harper. He's been certainly hungry, but I'll say Phillies win. Yeah, I'll say 7-2. So Phillies and the over there for me, Brian. What do you got for your number 2 pick? What do you got?
All right, so number two. I am going to go with your Houston Astros here in San Francisco. You got Ronel Blanco and Jordan Hicks, 2 guys that have had really good seasons up to this point. ERAs under 3. So this day and age, I mean, that's in the upper echelon of the league. But I've just spoke about this so many times. I just don't see that Giant offense being consistent enough to rely on to win
No way.
games. I know Jordan Hicks is good, but I don't know how many runs they're really going to score off of Blanco. He's done such a good job this year. So this strikes me as an under game. I think actually the Giants get shut out here at home. But Yordan Alvarez, Tony, a 5th inning, 3-run homer into McCovey Cove gives the Astros here a 3-0 win. So it's the Astros and it's the under.
Wow, dude, Astros in the under. Good call there. Let's go last game, best game, my game here. I guess we'll go with let's go to the freaking Busch Stadium, dude. Which, by the way, Busch Stadium, as I mentioned before, would love to visit, dude. But nonetheless, here, let's freaking go. It's Pirates, it's Cardinals. It is game 1. The first time they're facing each other this season. You have Paul Skeens on the mound, dude. Let's freaking go 3-0, 3 ERA. I have not taken him once in a start. I'll start now, okay? He's going to be on the mound pitching against Miles Mikolas, dude. A guy who has struggled to keep the ball in the park. 12 home runs to get up on the year, a 5.3 ERA, 4-6 on the season for the Cardinals here. 2 games below 500. The Pirates looking to get back to 500, over under 7.5. St. Louis is favored, but a tight dog here, minus 135 for the Pirates. Give me them. O'Neal Cruz, he's bound to put one out. Finally getting the double digits home runs at 10. Connor Joe's been killing it, dude. We've watched a little bit of him even against the Mets. He was doing really well. And I just feel like Cards, probably no offense. I mean, they just split a 4-game series with Colorado. Pirates just took 2 from 3 from Minnesota. So even the Pirates here, Skeens dealing. And I'll say, I mean, I feel like Mikolas is going to get popped. No, I'll say it just gets on the under. Pirates win 5-1.
All right. Quick TO, last pick, Tony.
No, dude, dude. I'm holding the phone. I'm holding it down for Brian. Let me tell you folks at home why Brian is so important to the show. Jokes on him. He's not, dude. I am the show. But nonetheless, we're going to be sitting here. Music's going. It's definitely frenzy time still. Paul Skeens, very interesting type of, I want to say, athlete here. Obviously becoming more of a fan favorite around the league because he's, young guy, 22 years old. He's got the girlfriend. He's got the mustache, pitching, dealing well. He's a big dude. I think he's like 6'6". And you want to just look at his last few outings here. 5 innings, 3 earned runs against L.A. Solid. Again, freshman year here. Detroit took care of business. 6 innings, 2 earned run, 9K. Still fanned 8, by the way. Dodgers. San Francisco, 6 innings, 1 earned run. Chicago, 6 innings shutout. Only 1 walk. No hits, by the way, through 6 innings. 1 walk, 11 strikeouts against the Cubs. Why did he even come out of that game? I don't know why. Probably because he's still young. So it's pretty interesting there. His last 4 starts right there, absolutely dominant. And at 3 ERAs, Whoop is at a 1 right now, 38 strikeouts, over how many innings pitched so far? 27, dude. So pretty dialed in. And for the fans at home, I want to ask, what do you guys think your game of the nights here as we're making our picks, our totals, our money line bets here. What is your pick of the night? I'd be curious to see, even from my mother, who we do have some comments. This would be, I think, a great time to get the comments while Brian's not here. Homemade wings, she wants to know for Sunday, Father's Day, obviously. I feel bad. We can just do the Manor House wings. I'll pick them up. They're delicious. They're great. Reheat on the grill. Nice and easy. Nothing crazy. And it's like, I'm not sure how much I'll be around. If I was around Saturday, I would love to come in and prep this, marinate overnight. The chicken will do it, but I'm not going to be around. Sorry. And another says, Becco's, which she does a spell check. I know. Better deal. Pasta. Just so you guys know, I don't know the exact street, but not too far from Times Square, a restaurant called Becco's in Manhattan, $30, all you can eat pasta. And it definitely is way better from Buffalo Wild Wings. The way that works is that there's 3 different pastas. They make handmade pasta daily, and they make only a certain amount, and every time it's different, different types of pasta. 46th Street, my mother says. And the last time I went, it was a pumpkin ravioli, a pappardelle in like a meat sauce, I believe. and some type of linguine, I think, and clams, I think. Yeah, or shrimp. It's absolutely delicious. And again, different pastas every time, and it is all you can eat fresh. They come around, the waiters literally, and talk about like always, like you want more constantly. They come out with the pan, with the spoon, the freaking the tongs, dude. Bang! It really is amazing, and it really is all you can eat. It's amazing. And that's my take. And now if we're gonna between 8th and 9th comes with the salad as well. It's a house salad. You can do the Caesar upcharge. It's fine. Also, the appetizers, you get whatever you want, dude. I mean, the whole restaurant's amazing. You go in there, hey, I want to spend $50 on wine. Give me a good red wine for $50. They bring you the bottle. Bang. Bang. So that's just, I mean, it's Manhattan. It's the restaurant business. They don't fuck around. And you go down to, it's obviously a few steps down, you're underneath, but then you're like, you go in, there's the main dining area by the bar, which is fine, but then you go to the left and you go down and you get all the vineyard, all the vines, the wine, all on the walls and stuff, paintings of Italy. And then if you sit in the right area in the back towards, there's a huge sunroof, moonroof window. I forget what they call that when the window, whatever. It's a window. You look up. There's a garden around. You see some of the apartment buildings around Manhattan. Really is a tremendous experience. And I would we got to go, Mom. I feel like that would be great. I know, my father works in the city. Never want to spend a day in the city because he works every day. But it'd be nice just to go into Becco's for dinner and then leave. Even I'd do that. See a show. My mother says she said I saw Billy Joel there once. I don't think I ever heard that story. That sounds awesome. Did he get the pasta, Mom? Did he order the pasta? Brian Barnaby also commented back, but misspelled it through an L in there. So it's like Backle. All right, let's get back to the frenzy. Well, let's pick best, pick five, pick Brian. Let's go. What do you got, dude? Let's freaking go, dude. Oh, shit, he's muted.
Cable boxes are working. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, third game, final game, Tony. And I apologize. What was your last pick? I just want to make sure I don't overlap here.
I went with the Pirates and the under.
Okay, the Pirates and the under. You know what? Just kind of an inkling here. Give me the Orioles. Suarez has pitched great this year. It's a power matchup with the Braves.
Great pick, great pick.
But I just think, Acuna out of the lineup. Matt Olson really has not hit his stride. Neither has Austin Riley. Great that they're on my fantasy team, right? But what are you gonna do? So yeah, I just think the Orioles, because we're jockeying for position with them in the standings. Seems like they win every night, so it seems like a smart pick here. I think a lower scoring game. So give me the under, Tony. But I'm gonna say Orioles win this one 3-1. Immaculate inning. Craig Kimbrell locking it down against his former team, just like that. That is your baseball frenzy.
And Craig Kimbrell on my fantasy team. Let's freaking go.
And one of mine. That's why I mentioned it. But yeah, I have to say, Tony, there's a new sense of energy for me after these cable boxes. Kind of interesting too. The way that everything's going, everything's more compact, everything's smaller, everything's digital. We had smaller boxes. They take all those out and they give us these wide, bulky boxes. Almost look like your cable from 2005, but everything working crisp, Tony. So nice to be able to be back hooked up. So that was awesome and really not too bad. I want to say he came right after the show started, maybe 10 after, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking 4 new boxes, disposing of everything, setting up in a half hour. I mean, that's pretty good.
That's some great service there, dude.
Yeah.
Did you hear me say that he's a Met fan?
Didn't get a chance to. It was funny. I don't think you heard because you had me on mute. But he was, I guess, because on the phone, sometimes customer service, you can't really understand what they're saying, and so I think they thought on the phone I said I'm watching all the games because of bets or something, and he asked me, he goes, "Oh, you doing bets, man, with all of these games?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, yeah, sometimes, but I mean, really, just excited to watch the Yankees games." And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna need to see some of those bets, man." He's trying to make a joke,
yeah.
So it was just kind of funny that he said that.
That's good, dude. It's always a good time when you're a cable guy. It's pretty chill.
Yeah, no, but I have to say, I mean, obviously a little bit of a weight coming out here, but the fact that he was efficient, got what I needed done, you just appreciate that,
Oh yeah, you got it, dude. You got it.
So that was great, and yeah, pumped to see the Yankees try to take Game 2 tonight. And I was going back and forth with the boxes, the remotes. What are your thoughts on this Marlins Mets series? I mean, are you feeling pretty good? Are you in the back of your head? Are you thinking? I mean, while they should sweep this series, I could see them blowing it.
Yeah, honestly, dude, like it's pretty funny. I was feeling good, honestly, about it. Because again, we talked about it. The bats were kind of working. Vientos has been great. JD's been great. Alonso's been a little bit more dialed in, making great defensive plays recently too. And they've been like, looking to bounce back. They're coming back from the London series too. So, maybe they had a little hype, a little more pep in their step. But I gotta say, dude, I don't know if you saw this interview with Cohen. It's his birthday, by the way, too, today, Steve.
Wow. You
I
think
know.
anybody's doing like a prank gift because they're kind of tight about their performance, maybe like light the bag of shit on the front porch type of thing, or not?
I mean, maybe. I don't even know where that guy lives. I think he lives on Long Island. I don't even know, but
for some reason I thought he lived in Greenwich because I know that's where his firm used to be.
Yeah, maybe. I can see that. Honestly, if that's the case, Brian, I may be taking a trip down myself. Because
Wait, quick to you. I'm just curious though, because you would know, Tony. You would have a sense of this, and I know you've kind of said, "Let's see it play out," type of thing. But would you say percentage of Met fans, and I'm talking big time Met fans, more positive or negative towards Cohen overall?
I think it's negative, honestly.
Like real negative, or just like a little bit?
Like a lot, honestly, dude.
Really?
Yeah, and honestly, for me, it's the tide is starting to turn, and I'll tell you why, dude. I don't know if you saw, but he had whatever exit conference for the as Mike just walked in for the London series. A bunch of questions were asked to him about the future of the Mets, and like his time in London, and just hearing him talk about it. About London's so great. Like literally, as about London's so great. We were partying this, restaurants, the food. I love it here. First of all, said that London food is even better than he said. London's better than New York. He said that's literally the words he said. I know, Steve Cohen.
Did Jay say that?
Yeah. Jay definitely said that too. By the way, I think he said London's better than New Jersey too.
By the way, shout out Jay. Shout out Jay. Tony had a Asbury Park IPA at the bar last night.
Wow, dude, you liked it?
Pretty good. Gotta have your locals, Tony. Gotta have your locals.
Yeah, especially for an IPA. Not bad. I've had that before. So shout out to Jay for that. And then, so again, like that was just getting me tight because I'm watching this interview. And then they start asking him about the Mets. And this is where he starts to get into, because it makes me question where his focus is on. And he starts to get into how he needs an economic avenue if they want to like improve, the surrounding area, give people a place where like Mets fans just want to go and they're able to hang out. And he's talking about again like casino, hotel, whatever, the parking garages, and how much they need like some type of. He kept saying economic avenue, like that. He was hammering that. I'm like, what point are you going to be like, let's make this team good, Like that.
I mean, I've said it, Tony. I think you're starting to see the light a little bit.
Well, because it's like at the end of the day, it's like again, like I'm trying to give this guy a chance. He's saying that he's a fan. He knows it's going to be a process. He loves the minors. Like the minor leaguers right now, like the youth of the team. With a lot of bright future ahead of ourselves. He believes in Stearns. He believes in Mendoza. But again, like I'm watching him speak. And he just seems like he's more riled about, like putting in a casino and making some type of area that will make him a lot more money, as opposed to being like, hey, like we need to put better players in the field. Like we need to hold our guys more accountable. Like we need, Mendoza to hold his players more accountable. Like we need Stearns to bring in different types of players, like know how to do when it comes to trade deadline, who to get rid of and how to bring in, and at least some type of timetable. Like something, dude. And I understand, like people were saying, obviously, like in the off season, he was saying that there's going to be, again, like some time here to adjust. The whole thing with Scherzer said they had to be competitive to 2025. But then again, like just put the plans out there, like lay it all out there, dude. I just feel like Cohen's not doing that, and it makes me think that he's either slimy or he just doesn't have a plan laid out.
No, I mean, come on. And also, is the slimy thing really going to surprise you after what happened with his, financial stuff?
No, I mean, of course not. Again, I mean, I understand. Listen, he's a hedge fund guy. It's Wall Street. He's been in there forever. Like that's his business, like for as long as I've lived, that's what he's been doing. And a lot of guys are shady in that area, whatever. And you can say, the guy paid his dues, he did his time. He was out of the game for a while. They banned him from, even working. And now, he paid his dues, whatever. He's on top of it. He gets the Mets. Again, that's why I give him this benefit of the doubt, because it's a cool story. Like, he is a New York guy. He's a Met guy. But at the end of the day, again, it's really, you start to question now, is he really looking to have a team that is winning World Series? Because it doesn't really seem like it. It certainly doesn't feel like it. They're not really playing like it. And I know I'm dying to have any type of faith and to have some type of just excitement, to watch these Mets play. But again, I need Cohen to sit here and to look at the camera and tell the fans, this is what we're going to do, because he's not having that, dude. And a lot of players are underperforming. A lot of players, they're not buying into what we have here. And again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but it is 2 seasons ago where you have a 100-win team and what looked like a great manager that could lead you to a World Series. And now you have none of that, dude. And that's happened within 2 years. It's gotten a lot worse. And yes, I know you could say that maybe certain players are coming around, and that certain scenarios. Again, I know you hate Lindor, but at the end of the day, when he first came to the Mets, I mean, the whole Lindor bias thing, the whole raccoon thing looked like it was going to be an absolute absolute shit show from the get-go. And not to say it hasn't necessarily been, horrible, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, Lindor has certainly stepped up as a leader, it seems. And since that meeting he's had with the players only, he's been hitting really well. So it's there's these little inclinations of bright spots. But again, I mean, I just need some type of roadmap on how we're going to get there.
But is it as simple as, he had, Billy Epler in place and he thought he's the guy, quick fix, World Series in a couple of years. And then he quickly realized that this guy is over his head. He doesn't know what he's doing. And we need to build something sustainable. So he switches course, midway through, goes to David Stearns, and now he's thinking, long term, and he doesn't want to say it to the fans, but probably the clock has been reset probably for another 5 years at least.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you're totally right. Again, I mean, I talk about it a lot. Cohen is not, he's never owned a team before. He bought the Mets because he's a fan. And at least he says he wants to see them win a World Series. He wants to make that happen. And again, that's why I give him a little bit better of the doubt, because he did inherit an absolute shit show, I mean, a team that was absolutely torn, not really sure who their leader was. You had a couple good guys. You had obviously a manager, before you inherited the team that was doing nothing. You even had a GM who fucking gets caught, drinking after a party, drunk driving, arrested. Who's his job? I don't even remember. I forget his name. Scott?
Jared Porter?
No, wasn't him. It was the guy who replaced him. It was the interim GM for the Mets.
So Porter, that was something separate with the sexual misconduct or something.
Yeah. This was the guy who came in to be an interim GM for the Mets, and he was at a party and literally was drunk and got found
at Cohen's house.
Yeah, dude. Intern for Mets, found drunk in car. Let's see who this was. Zach Scott.
Yeah. Any relation to Chad?
I don't think so, dude. And freaking White Plains, dude. He was found in his car sleeping, drunk. I know how.
I think Cohen lives in Greenwich.
It must be right. If
he was headed back, that guy was headed back to his New York City apartment. I guarantee.
So again, Cohen did inherit an absolute shit show of a team, which is again why I gave him some benefit of the doubt, but. I don't know, dude. I think he is. I think you're right, because he came in, he said 3 years or 5 years, World Series, 3 to 5, and he thought he had a guy in Stearns, in Epler. He thought he had, obviously a good manager. He thought he had the right players in place. He thought he could bring in Scherzer. He thought he could bring in Verlander, these guys already established in the league, and get a World Series. And that plan obviously just totally collapsed. I mean, no one is here now from that team, even, like that era, like Verlander, DeGrom, Scherzer, gone, Stearns, gone, Buck is gone. Like, so obviously that's not working and he's trying to pivot. But like you said, maybe this guy is in over his head. Perhaps. Do I think he should do I think he should not be the owner of the Mets? I still think he should be the owner, honestly, because I think at the end of the day, I think he will still spend the money on the Mets. I think he still will look to have. I mean, he's gonna make like Flushing, Queens a better place. Honestly, I think that really is his goal. Like implementing a hotel, grounds around Citi Field for people to be there. I mean, that is going to make that surrounding area nicer to be in. It's going to definitely attract more people to the stadium. Will the Mets start winning games? I mean, he says he believes in Stearns. He needs a GM that will be able to do that for him. That's what he needs, Does it look great right now? No, not at all. So, I mean, am I excited for this Miami series? No, honestly.
But see, that's the problem. Like, you can have your surroundings, you can have your casino, but at the end of the day, those are just accessories to a team winning. And I mean, this fan base is completely beaten down, completely delirious and out of their minds to see some type of consistent winner. He came into New York with a lot of promises. He hasn't delivered. And I think really, and I know, yes, day-to-day operations and especially baseball maneuvers, that's all on David Stearns. But this trade deadline is so important. You cannot mess this up. You cannot hang on to guys that aren't going to be on the team next year. You need to be getting over 10 like quality prospects back this trade deadline. It needs to be a complete fire sale. I know you've talked about, a couple games back, the wild card, but I just think they need to be realistic to themselves. And even if they are in a similar position come the trade deadline, to give up assets to try to improve the team and try to win this year is asinine at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, huge trade deadline. And I think like, this is where I do think Cohen, like if Stearns like fucks this up, I mean, I think Stearns is gone. It seems like Cohen is not shy of getting rid of certain players because he knows that he did make those promises at the end of the day. Cohen is still a successful businessman. He knows how to operate. And he knows, he does know how to hold people accountable. We've seen that. So, I don't know. I still, reluctantly, I guess I'm still charging into battle with this guy. But goddamn, dude, Stearns better figure something out. There's zero room for effort, dude.
And the thing is, I know, you were excited about the trades that they made at the deadline last year. And it's like, well, I mean, it comes down to it. Those guys got to develop. If they don't, I mean, talk about a complete debacle. You bring these older pitchers in, you pay money for them not to pitch for your team, and then you get nothing in return. That can't happen. So, I mean, I really think, a lot of their success is going to ride on that and what they ultimately, do at this deadline. And even for somebody like Jeff McNeil, even if it's so marginal, Tony, even if it is a player to be named later, I think it is imperative for the Mets to just get rid of him, clean up the culture. That's another thing. You could bring in all the talent you want. If you don't have a clubhouse, I mean, you don't have anything.
Yeah, and I would be interested to see, like, honestly, what Cohen is like even in the clubhouse. If he does come down there and talk to his guys, before games or after games or whatever. Because I don't know. I mean, for the most part, the players do like Mendoza, but I mean, I don't know. I mean,
There's a breaking point at the end of the day.
Dude, I mean, you look at him, you watch him manage, you see him out in the field, interact with players. He doesn't fire me up,
Mm-hmm.
So whatever, dude. We'll see, I guess. But, I mean, I don't know. It's definitely tough, like you said. I mean, at this point, it is a wait and see. Let's see what the trade deadline brings us. Hopefully, we'll be seeing not only a lot of prospects come over to the Mets, but hopefully a lot of them just again the realization of we're playing for next season now. I want to see a lot of these guys up and get some major league looks. You might as well at this point,
Yeah, no, as many guys as possible. So we'll see what happens. I'm saying I think there's a pretty good shot. This time tomorrow we're talking about 2 New York wins. We had that pop up a couple times last week, hoping for more of the same, Tony.
That's right.
But let's go now to the world of the National Hockey League.
He scores! Captain with the overtime winner! That's the middle quick. That's a world-class hit right here. Tomsky stepping, ring wide! Made the full split save. Are you kidding me? Turn, side of the net, between the legs, and they score! Filthy! David Pasternak, the silver trophy to the Golden Knights.
Are your ears still recovering from the noise level of the excitement in Buffalo Wild Wings last night?
Dude, I really couldn't believe it. Like that, like no one was watching this game. I had to ask. It wasn't even on the TV, bro. I had to ask for.
But think about this for a second, Tony. Like, yes, like if you're talking about talent, great matchup. But you're talking market. This is complete shit. I mean, you're talking about Canada as one of the markets, Edmonton, Alberta. And then Florida. We know how fair weather, Florida sports fans are. Also, I have a hard time thinking, yes, there's some exceptions. Some people that have moved north, maybe Florida natives or moved out west that are Panthers fans. But I would say, over 90% of these Panthers fans probably live in the Sunrise area.
Oh yeah, you're definitely right. Especially with for Florida people, I would imagine predominantly a lot of them are Lightning fans, especially because of the history with that team and everything. So, but still, I thought I would think like, oh, it's I know we're in Connecticut here, but there's got to be a ton of hockey fans. I thought maybe they'd be out, Buffalo Wild Wings.
But I think you know what it is, Tony. I think hockey is different than like football, for instance. If the market was nowhere near us. We have two of the top quarterbacks or two of the top teams, it's compelling. But for hockey, you need big markets. And the difference in rating, and obviously we'll never know because we won't get to see it, but if the Rangers were in the Panthers spot right now, I think, honestly, the overall ratings would probably double.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, dude. I'd be interested to see actually the ratings right now for game 1 and game 2 ratings for NHL.
And I don't know if the game 2s are out, but I would imagine game 1 ratings are. And I can't imagine they would be good. I mean, you had a 3-0 shutout by Florida in game 1 last night. Oilers get excited, goal in the first period, and then 4 straight for Florida to finish it out. So really wasn't close. I guess it was a 1-1 game going into the third, but a couple of minutes in, at Ivan Rodriguez, one of 2 goals he was scoring in the third. And that was really, it in terms of the Oilers' chances. As Ekblad added an empty netter at the end of the game, a couple minutes left. So Florida going up 2-0 here. And I haven't looked, but I would have. Oh, yes, it is. Okay, so they go extra day off, which is interesting. So game 3 in Edmonton is going to be Thursday. So do or die for the Oilers already. And it's crazy what a swing game that is. The Oilers win that game. You feel like, oh, well, 1 win away from really getting back in the series. They lose the game. You kind of feel like it's going to be a sweep if that happens. So things can just change so quickly. And it was kind of interesting how we were on the opposite side of this last night in terms of like the picks and me rooting for the Oilers, but kind of just felt like the writing was on the wall. And almost like after game 1 gave me a similar feel to what I felt with the Rangers after game 5, that this Florida team is just too tough. And they really do, as much as we probably hate to say it, Tony, just looking at the players, looking at the goalie, looking at the overall team, it does remind you of a gritty championship hockey team.
Yeah, dude. So I don't know. Watching this game, and the reason why I picked the Oilers yesterday is because I really thought the Oilers would come out with some offense and some adjustments. Yeah. My God, Brian. I mean, this Panthers team is playing a hockey game that seemingly no one can really stop. And a lot of it, starts with the captain, with Barkov. Who I believe won the Selke Trophy. And then on top of that, you have Tkachuk, who's another, player similar to that, who plays so physical. Their defense, Brian, is so tightly knit. You just don't want to play with these guys. And then by the off chance that we'll see an opportunity, from a team where they get past the defense and they get a look at Bobrovsky, they have to try to get Bobrovsky, who has been absolutely dialed in and lights out this entire postseason. So it's honestly, dude, after game 2, after a loss like this, I find it hard to think the Oilers should come back. And honestly, dude, I don't care about home ice advantage. The Panthers have been great on the road this postseason. We've seen even the Oilers, the Oilers Star Series. You had them exchanging games on the road. Same thing, look at you can go back to the Avs Winnipeg series. I mean, it is just not. This is not in the cards. It seems. It really is. It's super tough, honestly, to watch because it just seems like that you're looking at this team, the Oilers, being such an offensive powerhouse, and they had like 4 shots on goal in the first period, a total of 19 shot attempts. It really is, dude. It is embarrassing. I mean, you're the Western Conference Championship, you're the Western Conference champions, and you're coming in here and you're kind of getting shellacked. And I understand you're in Florida, but I mean, I really would have expected the Oilers to take game 2 here and to make it somewhat competitive, but I do at this point. I mean, I know you're saying after game 3, if they lose, you're in a sweep situation. I'm saying right now, the Oilers are dead in the water. Obviously, your goaltending matchup, it's been outweighed here. Bobrovsky's a way better goaltender than Skinner here. That's been evident. You knew that going in. You have to rely on your offense to try and score here. I mean, the Panthers have put up 4 goals. You're putting up 1 in the first period. You scored once in the first period. You had nothing to show for it in the next 2 periods. And it's just that's been the Panthers game, dude. They wear you down to the point where when it comes to crunch time in the third period, you don't even want to be out there. All right. And then the Panthers are just scoring in the third period. They scored 3 goals, 1 being empty netter, sure, but still scoring, That's when they sit back and then they start to go to work in that third period when they've hammered you in the first 60 minutes. Or the first 40 minutes, and you're tired and you're gassed and you don't want to be there. That's when they go to work and they just dismantle whatever type of defense you're trying to put out there. And it's crazy. I don't know if you know, but game 1, McDavid, I think, had 6 or 7 shots on goal, and then no goals, no assists. I mean, that is for the most shots on goal for a Stanley Cup final with no goals. And that's indicative of Bobrovsky's level of play. And you're seeing how tight the Oilers are getting. I don't know if you saw Draisaitl's hit on Barkov. Draisaitl should be, in my opinion, suspended for game 3. He left his
that hit did stand out. Yeah.
Yeah, you saw it?
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if I can pull it up too for the folks at home. Because it really, honestly, and Draisaitl is such a piece of shit, dude. Like I really. And I don't know if you remember too, but he was a guy who last year, after they had a tough start to the season, he was the one who was giving shit to the media people, not wanting to answer questions, yelling at them and shit, because he's a fucking sore loser. And I think in the Western Conference Finals, when they lost last season too, he didn't go to the handshake line afterwards. He wasn't shaking anybody's hand because he's a fucking asshole. And now you're seeing, a hit like
you're really
this.
An asshole, huh?
Yeah, you're what are you, some kind of asshole? You're gonna be seeing a hit like this on the Panthers. It's kind of ridiculous. But I'm gonna mute this here real quick. I mean, Draisaitl, this is full speed, leaving his feet, leading with his elbow. And I don't know what happened to Barkov, but he was walking off with his jaw, like holding his jaw, dude. Like you can have a broken jaw right now just because you want to be a fucking sore loser. Literally, dude. Like those are 2 rules you can't do: lead with your elbow and then leave your feet. And he literally jumps up with his elbow. If this guy's not suspended, it's bullshit, honestly. But that's sorry, Brian. That's just my opinion. And I think that although like that play right there is indicative of the attitude that they have right now. And again, I mean, that's the Panthers game, that they're in your head. They play physically until they break you down mentally, and then that's it, dude. So the Oilers got a lot to figure out. Excuse me. They got to come in with some sort of game plan to stop the Panthers and to figure out how to score. They have a lot of work ahead of themselves. They're lucky that there's an extra day off, that they can nurse some of the injuries, because I'm sure a lot of them are hurting, and come up with some type of game plan here. And I don't know. It's tough, dude. I really don't know what to think of going forward. Again, you watch these 2 games. You want to look at these 2 games only. I'm thinking Edmonton's donezo. But obviously we've seen them come back. We know, again, to take a step back, take a deep breath, and to think that at one point McDavid will be able to kind of, take control of this game. Again, they scored first. That's been honestly a theme that's worked in the favor of the Panthers. A stat I saw that it was interesting to me: the point differential in the first period for the Panthers is -1, and every other period is +22. And again, to go back to, the Panthers playing that long game of beating you down, I mean, that's their game. So if you're going to want to beat the Panthers, you got to come out hot in the first period and try to ride that momentum. And you got to figure out a way to stay physical, clean, to stay, not breaking any rules, physical. And I think, both teams have been killing it on the penalty kill. I think it was the Oilers did the Oilers, was their goal on the power play? It was on 4-on-4, I thought. Yeah. And then the power play goal in the third was by Rodriguez. The power play has been great on either side, so there's really not much there. I mean, Panthers last night 1 for 6 on the power play. Oilers 0 for 4. Both penalty kills have been great. Kind of crazy again. How many power play opportunities? 10 power plays over the course of those 3 periods is pretty crazy. The rest of the stats are pretty much the same in terms of hits, face-off, stuff like that. But obviously shots, 19 for the Oilers, 29 for the Panthers. They got to find a way, dude. And if you ask me right now, I say they don't find a way. But I don't know, Brian. What do you think? You think the Oilers find a way to make this competitive? Next 2 games at home? Is that
I'm doing this thing where I'm putting my rooting interest aside, and I think they're going to get swept.
I know, dude. It really is crazy to think. By the way, I was looking up some of the ratings for the Cup. Game 1, 7.1 million viewers. This is United States and Canada, which is a 43% increase from last season. And I would honestly be very interested to see what the breakdown is, because I would imagine Alberta is Canada probably for the very interested in the Cup final. Obviously, it's a Canadian team. So
but these are U.S. ratings. Those are U.S. national ratings.
These are North American ratings.
North America, so it encompasses Canada, Mexico, type of thing.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, but I'm saying I feel like so much of that is from Alberta, and especially the fact too, Edmonton hasn't been to a Cup since 2006, but. And I'm sure too, since we've had the final on ABC the last couple of years, I'm sure the ratings are growing. But unfortunately, I think for like big growth, just by virtue of this matchup and not having 2 American teams, is it going to result as in higher ratings? Is probably what they would have hoped.
Yeah, no, yeah, probably not. Again, if it was like a even Avs, Rangers. I mean, if Rangers are in there, or I mean, even a West Coast team, if the Kings were able to do it, like that would have been huge, I'm sure, for the ratings. But nonetheless, I mean, it's nice to see that they still grow. I think the Buffalo Wild Wings in Milford, Connecticut is not very indicative of how hype people are. Because I think it is, again, that growth, 43% increase, they said, of growth over since last year for a game.
You know what the thing is for me though? It's like, but that growth too, but that is again North American rating, right?
Yeah, U.S. and Canada, North America, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, a lot of teams are in Canada. Yeah. The headquarters is in Toronto, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, correct, of the league. But we know what the deal is. I mean, American interest, American ratings, those are what need to grow. Yeah. So hopefully the Rangers next season give them an opportunity to do so.
Yeah, I mean, let's freaking go, dude. So,
but honestly, Tony, I mean, does like, especially after this being 2-0, I mean, has the juice of this series kind of been taken out a little bit here?
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, I do think McDavid's gonna go out there. They're not gonna give up. Like I said, McDavid's gonna go out there, still give it his all. He's gonna try his best. You may see him, some of the best hockey he'll ever play to date, in the next upcoming games, because he definitely wants this Cup. You saw that the post game interview. He says he's team's in a good spot. They're aware of the Panthers game, and now they're excited to be back in Edmonton. They expect a big crowd. They expect a change of momentum to kind of go in their favor. So again, I mean, I'm sure he's I still have some juice, and not that I'm rooting for the Panthers, but I did kind of expect the Oilers not to do well here. So I guess I'm like slightly happy it's kind of going this way.
I got a good question for you. Full transparency, on Thursday, more excited to watch round 1 of the U.S. Open or game 3 of the Stanley Cup?
That's a great question, dudes. Honestly, I may. Well, it's just day one of the U.S. Open, but still, I think I may lean U.S. Open, to be honest.
Yeah, I was about to say, because I was pulling that up right now, like just looking at the field and stuff. I'm so excited for this U.S. Open.
That's gonna be so much fun.
Because I think it's gonna give us, it's guaranteed to give us one of these three things. It's either Scotty winning a second major of the season, something we haven't seen in a little bit, or it's going to either give us someone with a quote unquote return to glory. So, meaning somebody that's won a major before, like a Bryson DeChambeau, like a John Rahm. I mean, obviously, Scotty falls under that category too, but. You know, and also, you know, something nostalgic, you know, like a Phil Mickelson or Tiger, which is obviously, you know, seems pretty out there to expect something like that. Or it's going to be a, you know, a first-time major winner, somebody that we didn't see coming, a la Wyndham Clark at LA Country Club last year. Now, when you look at it from just a broad horizon, and not thinking about it in terms of, oh, well, I said this guy's going to win, so that's what it is. But do you just, in general, if you had to put your money on the line here, more likely to be a first-time winner or somebody winning, you know, a second, third, so on and so on, major of their career for this tournament?
Oh, interesting. It had to be a first timer or a return
or multiple time winning major winner.
I mean, I would. It's a good question. I mean, I guess in terms of the field of first time winners, I mean, I guess no. I mean, I don't think it really matters that much. So I mean, I want to say, I guess, a returner. I guess at that point, because I know, you know, the U.S. Open courses change every year. So it's not like there's no someone, you know, who won, you know, even, you know, last year or something to be like, oh, I've been in this course, I know it, whatever. I guess I'll put my money more so on the first time winner.
Interesting, but I think back of your mind, is it because you're thinking of a one Victor Hovland, or does that go into it for you?
It does. I mean, it definitely does in the back of my mind. I mean, you know, Victor Hovland, and I'm thinking too. Even so, with, you know, the putting that he's trying. I mean, putting has been a strong suit for him, and it seems like you were saying, with the heat, the greens, fast may struggle. We've seen even Scotty this year, you know, sometimes wobble a little bit on the green with his putter. So that definitely plays a factor.
And just one more thing, just to like build, like, you know, a little hype. I'm so excited, and the whole show, I mean, it could be the U.S. Open tomorrow. That's how excited I am. But just kind of asking you out of the blue here, and I know they're both probably unlikely to win just based on what we've seen, you know, with them in winning majors of recent. More likely to win, actually, three people here. Okay, Phil Mickelson, Rory McIlroy, or Jordan Spieth.
Oh my gosh! Like who's most likely to least likely to win?
Look, no order, just one guy out of those three guys. Who's the most who has the best chance of winning on Sunday?
I don't think it's going to be Spieth at all. I guess give me Phil.
Phil? Wow.
Phil. Yeah, give me Phil.
Wild card. Phil career completing the career Grand Slam at age 54. That would be something.
That would be so ridiculous. And I don't know. I mean, what do you think? You think you can Phil?
No, out of those guys,
not Rory.
No, it would be, because I think it's like, you know what I mean? There's a different level, Tony, of falling apart, not completing the deal. And when you look at those guys, even though we know Rory's choked away a bunch, I think he still is kind of like head and shoulders above those guys in terms of as a player right now.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny. I guess my mother agrees with you. Probably a little spell error here, but she does say McIlroy.
Yeah. And now also follow-up question here. Promise this is the last one. Like I said, we're building the hype for you, Tony, for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Out of those three, who would you want to see win it the most?
Oh man, I mean, I guess I would want to see Spieth win it the most.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Because it would be, imagine, and then we get that Jordan Spieth that's holing out from the bunker on 18 at the Traveler. Margins, the other. I guess really like winning the Masters and winning the U.S. Open back in the day. I mean, that type of Jordan Spieth. And obviously, this wouldn't complete the career Grand Slam, but it would give him his fourth major title. And he's still young enough where a renaissance could certainly happen if that should be the case.
Yeah, and it would be great. I mean, to have him at that high level, again, competing with Scotty for like huge tournaments. I mean, not to say that Scotty is running away with tournaments so much, but I don't know. I feel like having like there's not a heavy two, Right. I mean, at least there's the way I feel like how media portrays it, where, I mean, at this point, Scotty is just up at this level of game that's like no one's really touching. And
he's earned it.
Yeah, no, he certainly earned it. But like to what you were saying, like Spieth is still young enough where we can have this resurgence and then try to battle for this top, for this top position, which, I could see. But I guess time will tell, dude.
Yeah. So pumped up for our U.S. Open show tomorrow. And just going to be great watching all the shots, the footage, at Pinehurst. So that's going to be something. But other than that, Tony, I think that's that, huh?
I think that is that, dude. Oh, Spieth is only 30. That's right. I thought so. I was just looking at his age. But yeah, what a show. What a remote show, dude.
Yeah, honestly, as good as a remote show could get or not?
I think so. I think best remote show we've done. Certainly. I don't remember the last time we did I want to say the last one we did, you were maybe at Mohegan or something, and you FaceTimed in from the freaking.
Yeah, I think so. That was in April. Was it April? I think it was April.
Yeah. That was funny.
Yeah, it was April because it was right before the Yankee home opener. Yeah. But yeah, and I think, star of the show is not the bag boy. A flat platform, good viewing angle, good lighting, Tony. Really, really pretty good, huh?
Yeah, dude. You got to really appreciate that. Those little finer details, Brian.
Yeah, and I'm just riled. We can get the bonanza going again in the basement here. The 3 cable boxes. Let's go.
The new bulky ones, dude.
Yeah, old school. You guys know.
Do they have the time on it, dude?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, they do. Let's go, dude. Because that was a huge pet peeve of mine when they got the smaller boxes and they threw the time off. Like, what are we doing?
We're basically removing franchise mode from Madden. That's what we're doing.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So, all good stuff for sure. And once again, we really appreciate everybody tuning in today and continuing to comment, like, and subscribe. All of the archives on the YouTube page, Tony, Michael, Renee, and Jay in costume, the merch at downtimetv.com. We want everybody to enjoy the day, enjoy the games. Let's go Yankees, and we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.